So it may come as a surprise to many of you that I actually haven't watched a lot of Disney movies. I haven't seen Snow White, Cinderella, The Little Mermaid, Brave, The Princess and the Frog, Beauty and the Beast, Pinocchio, Peter Pan, any of the Cars movies, A Bug's Life, The Good Dinosaur, or even Mulan, Tarzan, and that Hunchback movie. But there's one thing I do know, and it's that the movies I have watched, I've analyzed as deep as I can. Moana is a movie which I just recently watched for the first time ever, along with Big Hero 6. And when watching Moana, in the first 3 minutes, I took one look at Te Kā, and I was all like, oh yes! The style, the sparking event, the everything tells me that this is Te Fiti. This led me to assume this throughout the entire movie, which led me to spawn more theories along the way. And when my theory about Te Kā and Te Fiti came true, I was left with a ton of theories revolving around the father, the grandmother, and the ocean, which I'm now sharing with you today. Hello, I'm the Theorizer, and today, Moana, one of Disney's better movies in the recent years. My favorite character is the grandma, who I found to be hilariously bizarre in a supernatural sort of way, which is why I'm planning to theorize on her. This theory is one I came up with as I was watching the movie. If it's obvious to all of you, I don't know. If someone else also thought of this, I also don't know. But that won't restrict me from sharing my extremely interesting thoughts. So according to this movie, long ago after Green Girl became Lava Lady, the ocean set out to find someone worthy of returning this woman's heart, to bring love back to the goddess. Legends were told, and Moana's grandmother of course believes them. After all, she knows Maui stole Te Fiti's heart, and she knew all about how her ancestors stopped voyaging after that. But notice how Moana isn't the only one in her family who likes the ocean. Her father loved it almost as much as Moana, and his mother loved it quite a bit as well. It's almost like this generation shared a love for the ocean, and that love got more and more intense as the generations descended, until it reached the chosen one. My theory is that it chose all of them along the way down to Moana, and this is why they literally and figuratively have the spirit of the ocean inside of them. Now of course it's obvious that Moana is like her father, and at parts I felt like the movie implied he was also a chosen one. Like just how similar those boat crashing situations really were. All of this of course is why I'm proposing this generational theory, but what about the grandmother? Well, let's take a good look at her. She has a very great love and respect for the ocean. We always see her doing stretches and stuff next to the water. Her spirit animal is a manta birostris, so much so that they actually swarm around her whenever she wants them to. She had a grand desire to tell Moana about all of the oceanic adventures of their ancestors, and I even think she did it just to lead Moana to save Te Fiti. Moana's love for the sea came from her grandmother. Seriously, whether this be a biological prophecy or just the way she was taught, it was her grandmother. So Tala's clearly got significant ties to the ocean, but that's not all. Oh no, not even close. Notice how when Moana's a young girl, whenever the ocean does something supernatural, it's when the grandmother is there. Back when it selected Moana for its prophecy, that was when it first showed its true nature. But guess what? We later learn that the grandma was there that day. She says so. She says that she watched the ocean choose Moana. She was probably hiding somewhere in the bushes, watching Moana, waiting for the ocean to strike after she told Moana the story of it. Later in the film, when the grandma reveals that she was there, the ocean acts up again. Again, with the grandma there. Not until the grandma dies does the ocean strike in Moana's presence alone. Even when Moana says that she thought the ocean was a dream, and then it splashes her, the grandma acts all casual, like she's experienced all this before. As does her father, calling the heart of Te Fiti just a rock, like he knows what it is. He also wanted her to steer clear of the prophecy. If you also realize the similarities, good. These are very crucial key points to my theory, but there's much more. After all of this, I've come to the conclusion that, heck, I bet Tala was the one who inspired Moana's dad to love the ocean too, getting him revved for the prophecy, which he failed to fulfill. And here's a little mind blow for you. Remember how I just said that the ocean was supernatural in the presence of the grandma until Moana left? Well, it isn't because Moana left that the ocean respected her, it was because of the necklace. Yes, the strange one that Tala had, which just so happened to be fit for a little green rock. The heart. Almost like she once had the heart, and perhaps gave it to her son, who threw it away when he failed the trials. That would explain why it's just sitting there on the reef for all those years until Moana grabbed it. But what's so integral about this necklace? Well, my theory is that it's like a vessel of sorts, that the one who wears it powers the ocean. Think about it like this. The very first thing in all of the world was the big blue open sea. But then a goddess known as Tefiti sprouted from the water and created green land. Sort of like how this necklace is a blue, sparkly, beautiful container which holds the small green piece. Just like how the vast blue ocean holds the green inside of it. The bearer of this necklace is the one who controls the tides. They make automatic friends with the ocean. This is why the father never succeeded. He couldn't control the sea without the necklace. Same for Moana, her first time out of the reef. She crashed and flopped and failed. Only later, when she took the proper boat with the proper necklace and the heart inside, did any of it miraculously work out. I bet that boat with the swirling sail was the grandma's. That's why she was so confident about Moana going in there to see her prophecy. She knew it would be the family boat that selected her. The chiefs of this island are the saviors, Moana specifically. And the other reason her father's attempt was so futile is because, look, his boat wasn't the same one as the grandma's, the swirly one. And so, I have concluded something mind-blowing. The reason people can't leave this island is because of the storms in the Savage Reef, correct? And the only time they can leave is if they have the Heart of Tefiti, the proper boat, the sparkly necklace, and the permission of the ocean by being considered chosen. This is the ocean, slowly trying to figure out who on this island is the savior. It won't let anybody leave, unless they're leaving to save Tefiti. This ocean is nutty psychotic. Lulz! But back on track, there's still much more to cover. Remember when Moana felt like she couldn't save anyone? She threw the Heart of Tefiti into the seabed, and then, suddenly, her grandma appeared to remind her who she was. This is the ocean. It brought in someone Moana's comfortable around, Tala, and convinced Moana to move on and complete the job. After all of this, I'm left with a single question. Why would the chief name his daughter Moana if he wanted her to stay on the island? Moana is defined as a body of open sea. So the chief is clearly quite self-conflictive, unless they all expected Moana to literally be the ocean, like she was in the end. And we can keep this generational thing going. Maui frequently acts like he has experience with the whole Heart of Tefiti thing. He kept using sarcasm when he talked about how the ocean chose Moana. He acted as if he was another of the ocean's failed attempts. My theory is that he, of course, was the first person who the ocean wanted to return it. After all, Maui stole it to begin with. Ergo, the ocean would want to save all of life by getting the thief to return it. Life is powered by the heart. It's a key plot point. But is there any actual motivation in saving all of life? Why would the ocean care? Oh yes, because it has life. Yes, the reason the ocean has life at all, the reason it could move and act like a human, is because it held the heart for years. The heart was floating throughout the waters, and when Moana had it, she controlled the ocean. At the end of the movie, it has no life. All it is controlled by is Moana. Subconsciously, sure, but the blue necklace allows this. And in the grand scheme of everything, this necklace is more powerful than the heart itself. Because whereas the heart represents life, the necklace can control all of the sea, everything that holds life. But back to Maui, because I'm still not done with him. As a boy, he was abandoned and somehow found by the gods. That's what he said, but here's the thing. His parents threw him out into the ocean, so is the ocean a god? Or did the ocean transport Maui to Tefiti? And another mind blow here, did she raise him? And before we get to this next part, it all sort of violates what I previously said about the ocean being controlled by the necklace. Think of this part of the video as a mini side theory, totally unrelated from the other stuff. So was Maui raised by Te Fiti? Maui calls himself the demigod of the wind and sea. That means that yes, he has powers of both. And the winds are mostly just dictated by the sea, so technically Maui is just a demigod of the sea. It would explain why Maui and the ocean are so familiar with each other. But in real life, like in real, not Disney life, Maui is an island in Hawaii. And what do they preach in MOANA? That all islands are created by Te Fiti. And this can mean only one thing. That it was Te Fiti who created Maui's demigod form. She and the ocean raised him. And who gave him the replacement fishhook at the end of the movie? Oh yeah, Te Fiti. Which means it is beyond more likely than not that she gave him the original as well. And that means that the heart, the heart, Maui stole from his own adoptive mother just to prove himself to his birth parents. Wow. Heartless. And so, if Maui was taken in by the land and sea, then that would make him chosen by them. The baby who they for some reason saved. Maui was the original chosen one, but not for the prophecy of saving Te Fiti. So perhaps his heirs would be the true chosen ones for what he did to Te Fiti. Once the ocean failed at getting Maui to return the heart, the ocean passed the heart down through Maui's descendants until it reached the grandma, the family heirloom given by the one and only ocean. The generational theory is internally fueled by the fact that if Maui truly was at the top of their generations, then it makes sense for everyone in that line to be the follow-up savior to his mistake. And what's more is that the grandma acts like she knows Maui. She tells Moana to grab his ears and whatnot, so is Maui her father. Timing nearly matches up for their ages, and oh, my theory's done. Now I'm done. So that last one right there doesn't have a whole lot of evidence, but it's really good to talk about. The main point of this video was the whole theory about the necklace and the ocean. And so holy crap, that was a hugely awesome theory and mini theory that were both extremely fun to make. More Disney type theories coming down the pipeline. See you really soon, and until then, I'm the Theorizer.